Hello and welcome to the NHL Best Bets. Yesterday we had many games and also good results from the qualitative picks that we made. Carolina visited Dallas. It was a pretty even game like predicted, but in overtime Dallas took a victory 4-3 and plus 116 odds provided good result for us. Another tight game, Vancouver in Ottawa. Home team was there a notch better as well. 2-1 was end result, and good goaltending in both teams kept the scoring low. Ottawa won and resulted 112 profit for us. Tommy, green is good.
Yeah, plus 228 altogether from the night. That gives us 1 day of losing both picks. So very good result for us. Both games pretty much as we expected. Dallas wanted to win more. They were a little bit better in that game. Could have won it in the regulation already, but had to go to overtime to take the 4-3 victory. A good game from both teams. Carolina, nothing to be ashamed of. They played well, especially when going down after the first period. They chased the game and they managed to pull it even. So a good game from Carolina as well. But you can see when you have the very closely matched teams, the one that has the slight, just a little bit more motivation to give it all. Dallas is chasing their playoff spot, so it was Dallas now taking the 2 points. Let's see how they do tonight in the repetition. It's an interesting matchup for the rest of the season between these teams and in that division in all the games. And the game that didn't much have to have any stakes in the North, Ottawa beat Vancouver. Vancouver in all kinds of trouble after a COVID break. They had to take. So they're not themselves. They're not playing as well as they could. They have great goaltenders, which kept them now in the game. Ottawa a lot more energetic and pushed the game. 2-1 victory was good for Ottawa. And maybe the result could have been a bit bigger, but we take all the wins we can, and 2-1 is a good win for a team that had pretty much nothing to play for.
Another game where teams didn't have too much to play for was in Los Angeles. Kings beat Anaheim. Actually, both teams still have a theoretical possibility playoffs, but it looks like they are enjoying more about the sunshine in Southern California than playing playoffs this year.
Yeah, I'm sure it's nice to play there, and like we keep repeating, they are still NHL players, so they go on the ice and they show that they belong in this league. It was a very good game from the Kings. We could have picked them this time. 2014, maybe not as good as then, but this game showed that Kings are a lot better team actually than Anaheim, as we have predicted many times. So still a long shot to make the playoffs, and I don't think they will, but let's see if they win all the rest of the games. They can be very close.
One game that had a big playoff indications was Montreal at Calgary. Calgary won previous 2 ones, but now Montreal won this extremely tight game 2-1, and that means that they pulled a big gap in the playoffs threshold to the Calgary. So do you think this was the decider between these two teams?
It's very close. It's very close if it's the decider. But if it would have been the other way around, Montreal would have been in a lot of trouble. Now they pulled out this victory 2-1, very close game. Exactly as we predicted, that if Montreal is to make the playoffs, if they are to compete, they have to play defensively and they can't turn over the puck. And now they played exactly that. Calgary plays a similar sort of hockey, so very low scoring game. These two will take on each other. And I don't think that Calgary has enough to pull out another rabbit from the hat. They came already close, but they should have won this game and closed the gap even more. Now it is 6 points, and Montreal has 1 game in hand. So 8 games left for Calgary, 9 games for Montreal. It will be still close, but Montreal has definitely now the upper hand. And especially if they keep playing like they did last night, they will be the one to take the playoff spot.
Other game that was very interesting and had as well a playoff indication was Florida in Nashville. Home team beat Florida 4-1, and their Finnish goalie Juuso Saros showed why he's now number one in Nashville.
Yeah, 39 saves out of 40 shots. Kept Florida offense at bay completely. He got a lot of help from his defensemen clearing out the second pucks that were dropping, but Juuso Saros was definitely the man of the match. Also a couple of other Finnish guys scoring goals, Erik Haula, Mikael Granlund, so a nice night for the Finns there, and a very important and good win for Nashville, who went to the game as underdogs but managed to pull a nice victory there. In the way that they are playing, they are not gonna overshoot Florida or any of these top teams, but they can play through the defense and hit back. They are extremely efficient when they get the goal scoring chances, and especially now on the power play as well. So look out for Nashville. They might be one of the dark horses come springtime.
But for tonight, we predict something else. Here are our picks for tonight's game. There's back-to-back game between Florida and Nashville in Nashville, and Florida is predicted in simulations to bounce back nicely. Minus 109 odds provide good value, and Florida still is maybe a notch better team than Nashville, even though the recent form or trend has good results for Nashville. Out of last 6 games, they've won 6, while Florida has won 5. So that's difference right now. But very even game predicted, and Florida should bounce back, like said, tonight. And then other game in Washington, New York Islanders start their road trip against the home team Capitals. And previously, earlier seasons, Islanders have been difficult team at home for Washington. Washington has won only around 20% of these head-to-head games during the last 3 seasons. But this year things have changed. So far they played 3 times. Washington has won all of those, and now it's last 4th game between these teams. So good value again based on the simulations, minus 110 odds for Washington.
Yeah, let's go first to Nashville, where I tried to build this donkey bridge for this game that we're picking tonight. We are taking Florida Panthers, who, like mentioned yesterday, outshot Nashville. Clearly, they were much more active offensively, and on these back-to-back games, this will show Nashville. The way they play, they are going to be more tired. Their style is much more exhausting, both physically and mentally, while Florida is playing much more free-flowing ice hockey. And I do think that if Pekkarinen is going in the goal tonight for Nashville, also that will play into the hands of the Panthers, and they will be angry from last night because they were in many ways the better team but couldn't score, and then the other team just came in and scored all the goals. So I think with this value, Florida, a little bit better team, has now a great chance to even out this series. In the simulation, 62% for the Florida Panthers in this back-to-back game, and the odds, like you showed, were closer to 116. So minus 116. So it indicates around 53%. So a good value for a tad better team in the back-to-back game. So I do think Panthers will bounce back. And the Eastern Giants here, Capitals facing Islanders. These teams have played the good hockey, very close games usually. Islanders have been surprisingly bad on the road. They are the second to last in their division on the road, while they're second to best at home. So home and road games completely different for Islanders. As we've seen, Barry Trotz likes to match the lines. He uses all these things that you have when you have a home advantage. This time, I think Capitals will take the win. They did also in New York. They're fighting for the top spot of this division, and it's more important for them due to the fact that they were already considered by many that they are over the top. They've won the Stanley Cup. They're no more the threat, but they have shown that they are one of the top teams in this league. and I do think that Islanders have no chance in this game. In the simulations, the odds showed the percentage was for Capitals 61%, and the odds minus 110. So a great value there for clear home favorites.
For these back-to-back games in Central Division, Nashville has around 50% chance to win back-to-back based on historical results in the last 3 seasons, but Florida is a much better back-to-back game team, so they have around 48% historical track record of back-to-back away games, while overall they have played or won around 45%. But much clearer difference is in Carolina-Dallas game, where Carolina historically have won around 48% of their away games, but back-to-back away games they have over 59% track record of winning those. So do you think Carolina will also bounce back after the overtime loss yesterday?
I think the game will be pretty much the same as last night, except that it will be more defensive due to the fact that it's back-to-back. Both teams probably feeling a little bit tired. They will play more defense than offense, I do think. Also, probably better goaltenders starting Khudobin for Dallas and Nedeljkovic for Carolina. James Reimer was last night for Carolina. Maybe not the best games for him, but Carolina has now 3 NHL keepers, so we'll see which 2 will be the ones they head to the playoffs. I think it will be better Mrazek and Nedeljkovic. But I think this game is a coin flip. Carolina was good yesterday. Dallas was just a tad better. The simulations still indicate that Dallas has the value, although Carolina is the favorites by the simulations as well. 52% to 48% Dallas. So a very close game. The one pick that I would make for this game is the under, which is 58% under 5.5 goals. So I do think it's going to be at least 2 goals less than last night.
Is there any other games that you want to highlight out of tonight's 8 games that are scheduled?
Yeah, I have to mention Chicago facing Tampa Bay because it is the value we have for the underdog. Not a lot of underdogs with value tonight. So Chicago hosting Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has played not so well as of late. They are still a very, very good team. Can't take that away from them, but they have been preparing for the playoffs and not impressed at all during this last week. So Chicago still in the fight. If only theoretically, but still has a chance to make the playoffs. They could surprise Tampa Bay if Tampa is not playing as good as they can. In the simulations, it's 40% for Chicago, while the odds indicate around 35%. So nice value for home underdog here, but it is Tampa Bay, so I wouldn't bet a house against them ever.
I think another razor-thin value for underdog is Buffalo in Madison Square Garden, where we may have a second game for Mr. Luukkonen as a Buffalo goaltender. Do you think that plus 250 or even more odds would have some value for actual real life and not only in Excel sheets?
In the Excel sheet, it looks like it's 0.1% the value for this. So it's very there. I think Rangers have played really well now. They are pretty much all in for the playoff hunt. They have nothing to lose anymore, so they just need to win all the time. They don't need to think about anything, just play ice hockey and win the game. So I don't think Rangers will lose to Buffalo. But Buffalo got a little spark from Luukkonen. He won the first game. Maybe something going on with the young guys, to show that they are capable of beating these teams. But I wouldn't go for the 0.01 odds here. But if you get something like plus 300, why not try for a couple of pennies? And it would be a nice show when you win with these high odds.
Yeah, I agree that it would be better to concentrate on these bit bigger values that we can find from the today's schedule, and we'll check how these plan out, and we'll be back tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.